Hi, everybody. Oh my goodness, happy Monday. Guys, can you believe, can you actually believe that it's the first official week of 2021? Ha! It is so crazy. Y'all, if you don't know me, my name is Courtney Dasuke, and I am so stoked to be here. I am going to be bringing some fire at you guys tonight. I'm going to be adding some value to your lives because you know what? I have been so freaking excited and nervous and throwing up feeling and like heart racing feeling. You guys know I've been like planning and planning and planning for this year. Like I've been going cocoa bananas crazy, planning for my business, planning for my life, planning for success, and my anxiety's been through the roof. I'm going to be like super honest, super upfront, super real with you guys. My anxiety has been through the freaking roof. If anyone can relate to like being super nervous or their anxiety's been out of whack, or you just have a hard time sometimes facing or fighting your fears, I want you to drop me a one below in the comments. If you ever struggled with facing your fears or fighting your fears or battling anxiety, I want to know that there's people out there who can totally relate to this. So I'm really excited for tonight's live because tonight we're going to be talking about 10 ways to fight your fears in 2021. All right. 10 ways to fight your fears in 2021. And I am so excited to share this with you. So, y'all, if you are hopping on this live, let me know you're here. Let me know where you're watching from. I am in Ontario, Canada. I've been getting a lot of new friends lately. So I'm super happy to have you guys all here with me. I'd love to see where y'all are watching from since we have so many new friends. And if you guys are catching the replay, feel free to put hashtag replay. I'd love to connect with you guys and follow up. So, y'all, if you don't know me, I'm going to give you a little bit of history here. Hey, Gwendolyn, hello. Forks, Washington. Oh, fun. Oh my gosh, when I think Forks, Washington, okay, don't judge me here. Don't judge me. When I think Forks, Washington, I think of Twilight. I read the books and I just remember being like, Forks, Washington. And like way back when I was a little teeny bopper, I was like, oh, Edward is in Forks, Washington. So that is just what I thought of. So that's really cool. That's really cool. Jesse, work, helpful. I know you're at work, honey. I know. So y'all, tonight we're going to be talking about facing your fears and fighting your fears in 2021. Because for me, I created, a word for me that I wanted to overcome things in 2021. I wanted to have a breakthrough. I want to be able to face my fears, face my anxieties, overcome things, break through the barrier. So that's what everyone refers to us now. It used to be the logging capital of the world. That is so funny. Now it's the Twilight capital of the world. Oh, that's too funny. That's too funny. So we're going to be talking tonight about 10 ways about how to face your fears, how to fight your anxiety, and how to do this in a realistic way. Because guys, I'm going to be honest. I am one of those people, like, I'm all about therapy. I am all about therapy. I'm all about getting out those feelings, getting out those emotions, and being honest and upfront and real. I'm just very blunt. And I like to talk about my feelings. I'm just one of those people. I've always been told by lots of people growing up, oh, Courtney, you're too emotional. Oh, Courtney, you're overreacting. Oh, Courtney, you're one of those, you're just too anxious to be around. That's not true. Those things are absolutely not true. I'm a very empathetic person. I'm a very compassionate person. And I'm a very understanding person. That doesn't make me a ball of anxiety. That doesn't make me any less worthy than anyone else. Just because, people who have anxiety are emotional, just because we're sensitive to things, just because we are, just because we struggle with certain things doesn't make us any less human than anyone else. You hear me? You hear me? If you can totally relate to that, drop me a 1 in the comments. So let's talk about these 10 ways to face your fears, to fight the anxieties, to overcome these things. So numero 1. Hey, Mama Bear, how you doing, my mom? That's my mom. That's my mom. So like my mom, I'm gonna actually, before I start these things, before I go to number one, I have to say, like, my mom has raised me so well. I mean, I'm 28 now, so like, I mean, she still raises me, let's be real. But like, even growing up, having anxieties, being nervous, like I'd always make sure I'd be like, Mom's the door locked. Like I was always afraid of the dark. Like I always had these things with anxiety, and she was always there to console me. Like I was always an emotional kid, you know? And it's so funny now because as an adult, I recognize these things as anxiety, and she never judged me in that part of being too emotional or being too, out there, being too wild. She always just accepted me for who I am. And I just need to say, like, so many parents need to just do that. Accept your child for who they are and help them through those emotional times, because in the end, that's what matters most. People who suffer from anxieties or depressions or PTSD or any sort of mental illness, all they ever need is love and support from their friends and family. They're not asking for you to be like, oh my gosh, I understand absolutely every single freaking thing you're going through. No, but they're just asking for a little compassion, a little empathy, and just a little bit of understanding. So, Mom, I love you. So, number one, how to fight your fears in 2021. Say something, guys. Like, I have goosebumps because I've been like so worked up. I haven't been sleeping. I've been super anxious. So, I think these 10 things are really for me, but I wanted to come on here and share them with you because if it's going to help me, it's going to help y'all. And that's what I'm all about. Hello, Amy. How are you doing? It's so nice to see you. Hey, Jen. Oh my gosh. Everyone's hopping on. It's so nice to see you guys. So number one, let's face these anxieties together. And guys, if you get value from this, feel free to share this video. Feel free to tag your friends who have anxiety or struggle with anxiety, because this is really good stuff. So number one, if you're struggling with anxiety at this very moment, or struggling with anxiety attack, or just you're feeling your heart racing or palpitating, you're getting that weird feeling in your stomach, take a 15-minute timeout, 10-minute timeout, whatever it may be. Just take a few minutes for yourself, okay? Take a few minutes for yourself just to cool off, just to, just to relax. Because I'm one of those people who, when my anxiety gets really out of control, and again, if you relate to this, like drop me an emoji or whatever below. But when my anxiety gets really out of control and I'm so overwhelmed, I can't even focus on one thing at all. I can't focus on one thing. My brain just goes and goes and goes and goes. It's like a constant cogwheel of, it's just constantly going. I can't focus on one single thing. It's just a multitude of everything at once swirling in my head. So taking a few minutes to cool down, to go for a walk, to exercise. Ugh, who wants to exercise? Gwendolyn relates. I said Gwendolyn. Oh my gosh, Gwendolyn. I'm so sorry. I have a friend named Gwendolyn. That's why I said that. I'm like, ugh. Anyways, point of the story. Go for a walk, have some exercise, take a nice warm bath. That sounds so crazy because I'm a Pisces. I don't know if like astrological signs mean anything to anyone, or quantum physics or anything like that. But for me, water calms me down. If I go sit in a warm bathtub and breathe deeply and close my eyes, hi Barb, it actually calms me down. I'm going to give you an example of that actually. And actually, you could also have a cup of tea or meditate. There's so many things, people have different habits and different routines to help calm themselves down. But I truly find, for me personally, having a bath is one of those things. So yesterday I was really, really overwhelmed. I had a whole bunch of things on my plate I had to do. And I was just like, I just like had a breakdown. I was just like crying. And I was like, oh, I have a headache. And Jesse's like, oh, you should go take some Advil. Well, yeah, no duh. But like, I was like, no, I don't need Advil. Like, I need to go have a bath. And like, he just knows what that means. But like, it's so funny because I was like, no, I don't need Advil. It's not that kind of a headache. It's not like my brain hurts, yes, but it's not a headache. It's an overwhelming feeling of a headache. So I went, I had a bath, I closed my eyes, I did some deep breathing, and I actually came out of the bath and I felt great. Okay, let's not say great, but I felt way better than when I got in. So, hello, Buena Vida Beauty. I'm on Instagram too, guys. So if you see me like seeing weird names or like saying weird names and looking down, that's why. So yeah, so take 15 minutes to have a little time out, have a little break for yourself, and just, cool down. I write lists and do to-do lists and help me keep me on track. Exactly. That's exactly what I do too. So I've really been starting scheduling and planning things. Um, Today was like my first big planning full schedule day, and I was like super overwhelmed. But you know what? I accomplished it, and I'm actually so proud of myself. So, number 2 on how to fight your fears. Remember to breathe, people. Remember to breathe. That is one of the most important things. And I mean, this was one of the first things I learned when I went to therapy. Breathing techniques and tapping techniques. These were things that were so important because I was so worked up and overwhelmed. I forgot to breathe. Literally forgot to breathe. I'd just hyperventilate and be like, I don't know if y'all ever watch Bob's Burgers. But there's a character, Tina. She's like hilarious. But she has anxiety and she's like, oh, 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 oh. Like she doesn't breathe. She just like screams. And hey, Liz. And so when I started going to therapy, breathing was one of the first things we started working on. We started doing deep breathing exercises and, tapping routines very slowly to help bring your heart rate down, to help focus, to help slow things down in your brain. So deep breathing is so important. So when you start to feel that anxiety, Jen, that explains a lot. It really, really does. So that was one of the first things I started learning in therapy before we even started diving deep into the crevices of my brain. But like we started to learn about breathing. Hey, Lise, I have a tapping book. Exactly. Tapping methods are very, very, very effective. They don't necessarily work for me. I'm also an odd duck, if y'all haven't noticed. But tapping's not my jam, but they are very helpful for so many other people. So breathing's really good, especially when you start to feel the anxiety, you start to feel the panic coming on. Don't fight it. That is something that is like so hard, and I am so guilty of this. And guys, I want you to drop me a number 2. Drop me a number 2 in the comments if you try to fight that anxiety and you try to fight that panic. Because I try to fight it all the time, and I feel like it almost puts me in a worse situation than if I were to just feel it and breathe through it and work through it. I'm a guilty person. I am a guilty person. I am better at teaching and helping others and telling people what they need to do than taking my own advice. Christina says too sometimes, girl, I totally relate. I totally relate. Like, I'm so guilty of it. It's so funny. Like, I've been in therapy for 2 years. Like, I worked in mental health. I'm a mental health nurse. Like, how ironic, right? So funny because I'm just like, nope, keep it all in, just move on, do the thing, do the job, do the task, do what you have to do to work through it. Because I grew up in a very, very small town. I grew up in a very, very small town where like mental illness and like anxiety and depression and all that, you don't talk about it. You don't talk about it. That's a no-no. And you just shut up, you do your thing, move on, get over it. That's just the way it was. So that's kind of how I was raised. So for me, actually feeling it and going through it and breathing was really, really, really hard. So you know what you do? You place your hand on your tummy. I was like, Instagram can see me. Or place your hand on your chest. And do the deep breathing exercises. Have not stopped tapping for a month, please. That's so good. Tapping is so beneficial in so many ways. Number 3, face your fears head on. Yes, this is scary. Not only does this apply for your anxiety or for nervousness or for being uncomfortable, but it's so funny because for me personally, facing your fears head on can also apply to your business. Y'all, I'm in network marketing. Y'all know Like, this is what I do. But it's so funny because you need to face your fears head on sometimes with your anxiety too. So let me elaborate on this. Facing your fears head on. Avoiding your fears. Avoiding your fears sometimes just makes it worse. Not even sometimes, it does. Avoiding your fears makes it worse. Every time you face your fears, the fear should slowly start to dissipate. It should slowly start to go away. So I'm going to give you an example. So when I truly started diving into network marketing about 2.5 years ago, there was no way in heck I would come on this live video thing. There was no way in heck I would ever come on this live video. There was no way in heck I would feel super confident coming on here and talking. Like, guys, sometimes I slur my words just because I'm anxious or because I have a lisp sometimes. I don't know, because I don't even have my retainer and I don't know what my excuse is, to be honest. But like, I still have anxieties coming live, and I've been doing this for 2.5 years straight. But I'm going to tell you, I would never come on Facebook Live without makeup ever. I do that all the time now. I would never come on Facebook Live and tell you my personal struggles. See, I just stuttered again, but I don't care. It doesn't bother me. But I would never come on Facebook Live and talk about my personal struggles or my depression or my PTSD or my anxiety. I would never truly be who I was because I was afraid of people's judgment. My dogs are being so crazy, but I was afraid of people's judgment and ridicule. And I was truly afraid of what people would think of me. And I was so afraid to live my life and be my true, authentic self. When I think back 2.5 years ago, that makes me so incredibly sad. Because I look back now and I'm like, wow, in 2.5 years, yes, I still struggle immensely with my anxiety. Yes, I still struggle with my depression. I still struggle with all of these things. But I can tell you confidently that I've grown so much as a person. I've grown. I can come on here, do an hour live if I want to do my makeup straight. I can come on here and talk to you guys about something meaningful. I can tell you about my ups, my downs, my struggles. You love the way I speak. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. You know, I can tell you my ups and downs and my struggles. I can tell you how I feel genuinely. And I'm not afraid if a hater hops on here and calls me some weird stuff. Like, I don't care. Because you know what? I know my worth on the inside now. Yeah, I'm still anxious as heck. But you know what? I know I can make a difference in this world. I know my story. I know I have a purpose. I know I can help people. So that's why I face my fears head on. That's why I'm doing this. You know, I still struggle with PTSD. I worked as a psych nurse in a hospital, and I went through a really traumatic event. I haven't gone back to that hospital since I went off work for my injury, and I still can't go back to that day. I still can't go back to this day. That's one thing I cannot face. I dream about it every night. I have nightmares every single night about it. That's something I cannot move on from. That's something that really affected my life tragically. But you know what? I have accepted what happened. I've accepted there was nothing I can do, and I have started to move on from it. Even though I can't face it right head on, I can face it in my head and be like, I did everything I could to save that person. So I'm just going to go back to the comments here. I don't mean to be ignoring you guys. I don't get anxiety, Lee says, but I fight depression every day. The past year has been brutal because of COVID. Guys, especially, you know, COVID has been so hard this last year. You know, here in Canada and Ontario specifically, we're back in lockdown again. Like, we're in lockdown for another month. Like, I didn't get to see my family for Christmas. So my depression's going, you know, through the whole roller coaster. I'm going through the whole roller coaster. But you know what? You got to stay strong. You have to stay strong. It's hard to find that mindset shift. It's hard to find things that are positive. It's hard to see those things. But guys, I have these tips. I have more tips for you that can help you with these things. Christina says, I fought my fears and destroyed myself. I fought my fears and destroyed myself. I just finding my way out after 2 years. Yes. You know what? I admire you so much for that. Jolyn says, hi. You are so much more confident and it shows. Thank you, Lise. That means so much. So guys, face your fears head on. You know, every time you face it, your fear should slowly start to diminish. Number 4. This one, I don't like this tip specifically, but I want to put it in here because it can be helpful for some people, but very detrimental for others. And by others, I mean me. So, worst case scenario. Number 4, worst case scenario. You know, when your fears and your anxieties start to come up and you're like, oh my gosh, like, what's going to happen? Oh my gosh. In reality, you can think in your head and be like, okay, well, what's the worst case scenario? What is the worst case scenario? So I put an example down. I put like people have fears of elevators and getting trapped in elevators. I actually have one of those fears. But like getting caught in an elevator, that's a fear of mine. And I'm like, oh, like it actually makes me like I have goosebumps again because it's gross. Does anyone else have a fear of getting caught in an elevator? If you get like, if you're nervous about getting caught in an elevator or stuck in an elevator, drop me a 1 below because maybe that's just what like an irrational fear that I have. I don't know if anyone else has it, but if you do, drop a 1 because you my people. But worst case scenario, it's like, what's the worst case scenario that's going to happen if I get trapped in an elevator? Okay, in reality, the worst case scenario is I'll get trapped, we'll be stuck for a little bit, and someone's going to come rescue us. That's really the worst case scenario. But then it's like, oh, worst case scenario. I was like, I fall to the pits of my death. See, I'm not good with worst case scenarios. For me personally, my anxiety is so dark and deep. Maybe it's just part of my psychiatric nursing brain. But you have to be careful with the worst case scenario strategy because sometimes you can get caught up in these negative thoughts. You can get caught up in the worst case scenario and it can make you even more anxious. So Jolyn, oh my God, you're the same way. I'm not alone. It's so crazy because it's just like, you know, worst case scenario, really what would happen is that, you know, someone would come save me in the elevator, but then my brain gets going and I'm like, okay, well, what if we're in the elevator for like 5 days and we have to start peeing in the corner and we have to, you know, and then we fall to our deaths and I have to start eating someone because I'm down there for like 5 weeks and, you know, it turns into cannibalism. And I'm just like, obviously I'm joking, but the worst case scenario can be beneficial for some people, but it can be really detrimental to others because if your brain is like mine, it can make the anxiety worse. But it can be a way to fight your fear if your anxiety is semi under control. I have that fear of elevators. Worst case scenario is so bad for me. I'm dark too. Christina, you one of my dark people. Love it. Like I have a twisted brain. Again, maybe it's like for my hashtag nurse life. I don't know. But number 5, look for the proof and evidence of your fears. Look for the proof and evidence. So the thing I want you guys to start doing is I want you to start challenging your thoughts and challenging your fears. And I know that's hard. Like, I know that's hard. Oh, there's a fluffy floating by. It wasn't a ghost. It's a fluffy. Relax. But look at the proof and the evidence. Like, what would you say to a friend if they were worried about getting stuck in an elevator? So Christina, for example, like if you were like, oh my gosh, Courtney, like I'm nervous about getting stuck in an elevator. In reality, what I would say to you is that, Christina, honestly, like we're not going to get stuck in the elevator. The chances are very, very slim that would ever happen to us. Like we're going to be okay. We're going to be fine. We're going to go up the elevator. We're going to get to the right floor. We're going to get to the right level. We're going to be okay. Right? Like that's what you would say to a friend. You would reassure them. You would make them feel comfortable. So look at the proof and look at the evidence as well, because that can help you reassure yourself through the anxiety. Number 6, that's number 5. Number 6, quit trying to be perfect. I am guilty of this. Like, are there any perfectionists out there? If you are a perfectionist, or you try to be a perfectionist, or you try to be perfect, or you try to be good all the time, you try. If you try to be a perfectionist, drop me a big old 2 in the comments. And guys, I'm going to raise my hand because I am guilty of perfectionism. It's something that's been this weird quality I've had since I was like a kid. I've always had these perfectionistic behaviors, not by any means of like being tidy or clean. Like, if you guys saw my office, it's a disaster. Like, it's the opposite. It's like disaster OCD. But like, I've always had this perfectionistic behavior of like, I have to get the good grades. Like when I was in high school, university, like I have to get the good grades. I did professional public speaking. I have to make sure I place first, second, or third. I have to make sure I place. I have to make people proud. I have to get the grades. I have to be in all the activities: volleyball, basketball, track and field, soccer. I have to be in all the extracurriculars, the plays. I have to be in all the councils, student council. I have to do the announcements. I have to be on grad committee. I have to be on, like, I went to perfectionism to the extreme because I also think that's how I coped with my anxiety. Darlene, you got that right. Yeah, I do. Jolyn relates. Offer to take the stairs. Exactly, Jen. Exactly. And so, quit trying to be perfect. You need to stop trying to be perfect. And this is something I tell myself every single day, and I still freaking do it. That sounds exhausting, Jen. It is. I'm going to be very honest. It's the most exhausting thing in the world. And I think that's why my brain never turns off. Like, I haven't slept well in weeks because in my brain it's been turning, and I'm like, because I've been trying to plan, my business. I've been trying to plan things for my team. I've been trying to figure out how I can make a system for my team to help them grow, to help them duplicate. But at the same time, it's like, I can't share it yet. I got to make it perfect. It has to be right. It has to be perfect because I want them to win. I want all of us to win. I want this to work. And then I get stuck because I have the perfectionistic behavior that it has to be perfect before I can send it out. It has to be perfect before I can post it. It has to be perfect before I can say, okay, let's go, let's do this. And it is exhausting. And I think that's a major part of my personal anxiety, is the perfectness. It's something that I'm working on. Literally, we work on it every week in therapy. It's something that it's exhausting, but it's something that's had control over my life for forever. And that's something that sort of ties into, hey Dustin, it kind of ties into, baby Michael says, "Gah." Hi, baby Michael. But it's so crazy because we're not perfect. We're all human. We all make mistakes. We all fudge up. We're all flawed. We are. And I know this. I know we're flawed. I know I'm flawed. I know I'm not perfect. I know this. Like, I swear like a sailor. I pick my nose. Like, I barely wear a bra most days. Like, let's be real here. I'm a human. But like, I think the perfectionistic behavior is almost like it's a behavior that's ingrained in my head. And if I don't show up as that person I think I'm supposed to be, I'm letting other people down. And that's sort of the thing I've had my whole life, is I can't let other people down. And maybe it's an only child thing. Maybe it's because I'm a child of divorce. Like, I don't freaking know. Like, I have no freaking clue. Hey, Linda. Like, I have no idea why I have this deep urge or this deep need to be perfect or good or to please others. But that's something I've always had. So me trying to like unplug my brain to be like, Courtney, you're human. Courtney, you don't need to impress people. You are you. You are wonderful. You are perfect the way you are. And so I have learned that over the years. I have been learning this in therapy. This is something I continually work on. And the thing is, I have decreased my perfectionistic behaviors. I have stopped caring as much about what other people think of me. And I do have to say, that has taken a huge load off my chest. It doesn't matter what people think of me. Honestly, it doesn't even matter what my family thinks of me. It doesn't matter what my friends think of me. All that truly matters is what I think of me. If I'm happy with myself, if I'm happy with my life, if I'm happy, that's what matters. And that's the same with you. If you're happy, everyone else's opinion doesn't mean crap. What truly matters is your opinion. Really, we only get 80, 90 years on this planet, on this earth. You need to make it the best you possibly can. Make it the best you possibly can. Live your best life. Stop giving a crap what everyone else is saying. Stop giving a crap what everyone else thinks. Do what you want to do. Live your best life. It's taken me so long to realize this, but I'm so thankful that I've lived the life I've lived to understand this. All right, so that was number 6. Number 7, visualize your happy place. Visualization is a great resource tool, especially if you have anxiety. So again, when you're taking that 15-minute time out for yourself, if you're having a bath, if you're going for a walk, if you're drinking your tea or meditating, visualize that happy place. Close your eyes and picture something that genuinely makes you happy. That could be the beach. That could be your bed. That could be, around the Christmas tree. Christmas trees make me happy. I'm closing my eyes and visualizing too. Like one of my happy places was like on the beach in Dominican. One of my happy memories, it doesn't even have to be a place, it can be a memory, was like when Jesse proposed to me last February in Dominican. Like it was the most incredible, beautiful moment of my life. Visualize those moments and keep them with you, because those moments can bring you back to a place of peace and happiness and can help you fight through those fears. Number 8, talk it out with someone. If you're struggling with your anxiety, if you're struggling with your depression, if you're feeling like you're in that big black hole of nothingness and you just want to curl up and die in your bed, because guys, I've been there. You should have seen me in November through the move. You should have seen me. Like, I was in my bed. It was hard. I couldn't get out. I was struggling. But I'm also a very stubborn woman. I need to take this advice also. You need to talk to someone about it. And then you know what? I actually did. I talked to my mom. I was like, Mom, can you please text me like every day or phone me to make sure I'm out of bed? Can you make sure I'm out of bed and I'm showering? Can you just make sure I am okay? And she's like, yeah, I can do that. And it's so crazy when you actually tell someone or talk to someone about it, because people care. People do love you. People care. People want to see you happy. People want to see you succeed. So it's okay to share your feelings. It's okay if you're down. It's okay if you're anxious. It's okay if you can't get out of bed right now. It is okay to struggle. Because again, we're human. Especially with the crazy year 2020 was. It is okay. But you know what? I want to tell you guys, don't bottle it up inside. I did that for so many years and it broke me. It broke me. From bottling up the feelings of emotion of loss of family members, to grief, to the grief of what happened at my job and seeing what I saw from the trauma, to losing friendships of people who I thought were people I loved. You gotta not bottle that stuff up inside, because eventually it's gonna break you. You're gonna snap, you're gonna crack. And I'm not saying like you're gonna lose, like, oh, you're gonna snap. No. But like it's gonna break you down. It's gonna wear you down. And that's why it's so important to talk to someone, whether it's a friend, whether it's a family member, whether it's like a help talk line, or whether it's a therapist. Guys, I am here to tell you, I think every single person on this planet needs a therapist. I don't care what anyone else thinks. I believe every single person should have therapy or should go to therapy. The reason why is because every single person in this world has trauma. Every single person suffers with anxieties. Every single person goes through a depression at some point in their life. But every single person in this world has struggles, things they don't want to talk about with people, things that really mess them up. We all have it. And I don't think there should be any shame in going to see someone to talk about this stuff. There should be no shame in that. Going to talk to someone, to work through your emotions, to work through your feelings, and to find that inner peace in yourself so you can move on and live your best life. Can I get an amen? Like, can I get an amen? I think every single person should have a therapist. I was like, I don't know what I'd do without mine. I honestly don't. Number 9, go back to the basics, guys. The things with mental health and anxiety and fighting back against it is you need to get back to basics. Go back and make sure you're getting your good 8 hours of sleep. Go back to getting exercise. Eat healthy. Drink your water. And don't use substances to cope with your issues. Don't use substances to cope with your issues because that just increases the depression, the anxiety, and the fears. Drink your water, eat healthy, exercise, and sleep. That's why I've started my 2021 off on the right foot. That sounds so weird to say, 2021. Like it doesn't roll off the tongue right yet. And the last thing, number 10, to fight off your fears and anxieties is rewarding yourself. So after completing all of these 9 steps, you're fighting back on your fears, you're taking that time, you're breathing through it, you are remembering to breathe, you're facing the fears head on, you are looking at the proof and the evidence, you're not trying to be perfect every single day, you're visualizing your happy place, you're talking with people, you're going back to the basics. You need to reward yourself. So treat yourself when you've done something scary or out of your comfort zone, because you deserve it. Make sure you reward yourself, whether that's with a cookie, honestly, whether it's with like watching one of your favorite movies or listening to a great song or going for a massage or there's not a lot of things we can do right now because of COVID, but try to find something that you can reward yourself with. Because when you have that self-reward system, when you've done something good and you've overcome that fear, you overcome an anxiety or you're working through it, that's going to reinforce that behavior and help you overcome it even more. So y'all, that is 10 ways to fight your fears in 2021. Let's go over the list again. If you found value in this video, please feel free to share it. Feel free to tag your friends who struggle with anxiety, or even if you guys want to follow me for more tips and tricks and videos like this, guys, I'm going to be giving content all year long. As I'm like choking on my saliva. Very attractive, Courtney. Very good. Please feel free to tap on my nose and go to the top 3 dots in the corner or the bell and click on it and click notify me when Courtney goes live. Because guys, I'm going to bring you some awesome stuff this year. And I'm just so fired up to be able to add value to your life, to be able to share my experiences with you, to share my story with you, and to maybe help some people who can truly, truly need it and benefit from it. Because that's my mission. That is truly my mission. So again, 10 ways to fight your fears. Take a 15-minute timeout. Remember to breathe. Face your fears head on. Think about the worst case scenario, but don't get caught up in it. Number 5, look at the proof and the evidence. Number 6, quit trying to be perfect all the time. Number 7, visualize your happy place. Number 8, talk to someone. Every single person needs a therapist. Number 9, go back to basics. Drink your water, eat your good food, get your sleep, and exercise. And number 10, reward yourself when you do something that's out of your comfort zone. Anyways, y'all, thank you so much for tuning in. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much for just hopping on and saying hello and commenting below. It just means the world to me. And y'all, I love you so much. I love y'all. I'm so excited. And guys, again, this is real talk. Real talk. I struggle with all of these things every single day. I struggle with my anxiety, and these are tips that help me get through these hard times, and I really hope they can help you too. Anyways, y'all have a great Monday night, and I'll be seeing you guys later. Bye.